Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I'm your host, Hery Acosta. Happy Monday, everybody. I know it's going to be a big work day today. The week is starting. But as always, stay tuned to my videos. I publish every Monday through Friday. Let's get straight into it. Like and subscribe. Now, first and foremost, Thomas Bryant, still a free agent. A little shocked about this just because I genuinely thought he would have already been either on a team on some minimum deal or just in the EuroLeague, but somehow it fell through with Panathinaikos, and then it somewhat fell through with the Knicks, as the Knicks were looking to actually sign Thomas Bryant, just because Thomas Bryant kind of torched them at one point during the series, where he just came in three straight threes and just pretty much helped put him away. But it doesn't make sense to me that Thomas Bryant is a free agent. Now, he's not someone who's asking for a boatload of money. He's also not someone that's even asking for a rotation spot. He's just someone that's looking to be on a roster and fight for that spot, because he was in and out of the rotation with the Pacers, especially in the playoffs. And he's a great player, can do a lot on the court, not consistent, which is kind of what's been his biggest issue in the league, which that's a lot of people's biggest issue in the league. But it still doesn't make sense that he's a free agent right now. Now, he did almost sign with New York, and either that or the Panathinaikos were both pretty much done deals at one point, which I had talked about both, but neither one ended up becoming the thing. So, I wish Thomas Bryant luck. I hope he can get on a team soon. He definitely deserves to be on a team, whether it's backup center or close to the end of the rotation. He is someone that's gonna be ready to play when it's his time. Now, this one's a little interesting because I don't understand how Russell Westbrook is still a free agent. It's mainly because of money. I know for a fact it's mainly because of money. But Westbrook is kind of now in that area where he's accepting the fact that he's more of a bench player than a starter. And just the fact that he's not going to be getting max contracts anymore. He has pretty much gotten to that point. But after his recent season with the Nuggets, which he still looked like he's a very good player, still can get triple doubles, but he's just not getting, for some reason, he's just not getting those chances. A lot of stuff falling through with the Kings, and they ended up signing Dennis Schroeder, and then just no other team has really made an offer for Westbrook, which is just shocking to me how not even 8 years ago, Westbrook was the league MVP, averaging a triple-double for the first time in his career, and then he proceeded to average 3 more triple-doubles, made multiple All-Stars, multiple NBA teams, helped lead his teams to, semifinals runs, but never get that championship. But I think it's time for him to kind of just be lesser money player on a big contender. Go back to the Thunder. Go back to Houston. These are all going to be big time. Now, I'll take back what I said about Houston, because maybe him and KD should still not be on the same team. But that's ancient history. But a lot of players have been able to leave, and now the Thunder have won a championship, which still blows my mind that the Thunder's first actual championship in Oklahoma wasn't with that big three that all became MVPs in the NBA. So I just think that's pretty insane. Now, let's kind of track to this. Pacers were given a C- based on their starting lineup for 2025-2026. Now, I understand that Hallie's not in the lineup, but there is no reason that the Pacers lineup should be graded this low. Now, Nembhard, Siakam, and Mathurin, and Nesmith all have all-star potential in this season. Now, I know it's a little bit of a stretch to call Nesmith that, just because he's more of a 3-and-D glue guy, but the way he played in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals shows you what he can do. The way he played in many different games, the way he defended some of the best players on the court. Nembhard is not really a stretch to call him an all-star caliber player. I genuinely think he could have an all-star level season this year. Mathurin also. not really a stretch, and Siakam's been a 3-time All-Star. The only player that I think still needs to prove a little bit more is Isaiah Jackson. I mean, he is just coming back off an Achilles injury and hasn't really been a starter for the Pacers because Turner was here for so long. But it's more of like a prove it season for a lot of people, and I just don't think that a C- is a fair grade. Now I know that we have two players in the lineup that haven't really been starters, but when Matherin's been a starter and when he's had the ball in his hand, he has been one of the best players on the court each and every game that he has started. And now I know when he was a rookie, he ended up not being the starter over the other rookie Nemhard at that point. But that's just because Nemhard was a little bit more NBA ready. You know, he played more. He played more in college, and he was already, he was already 22 when he got to the league. But now it's just time to prove it more. Prove these people wrong, just because it's very disrespectful what some of these analysts are saying about Indy. I just think it's insane. But last but not least, we're gonna kind of step away from the Pacers a little bit. We're gonna talk about the Pacers, but we're gonna also just talk about other teams in Indy. It is a time to be alive right now in Indy, just because sports in Indy is something else. Now, it all starts with the Pacers finals run. Now the Fever are in the playoffs. It's not looking too hot, but, crazier things have happened. They're currently down 1-0 in the series to Atlanta. But, the team also lost 6 players because of injury, and they're still in the playoffs after losing Clark after 13 games. They lost Cunningham in the middle of the season. They lost Sidney Colson in the middle of the season, Chloe Bibby. A lot of these players that were supposed to be big rotation pieces, and obviously their star player, all out. And then Kelsey Mitchell had herself an all WNBA first team type level season. So I'm proud of the Fever for that. And the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I have this. I mean, I'm obviously a big Indy fan. But Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones. Now, if this was a Colts channel, I'd go into a whole in-depth analysis of Daniel Jones' first 2 games because it's been statistically insane. He's currently second in the league in passing yards after 2 games, which obviously it's only been 2 games. And the only person ahead of him, their team is 0-2. Russell Wilson's got a few more yards but also Russell Wilson just threw for 450 yards in his last game, and they still lost. But Jones has 588 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 3 rushing touchdowns. So 5 touchdowns in total, which is funny because the Colts have only scored 5 touchdowns in 2 games. And we've scored a total of 62 points with 5 touchdowns, which that means that's 35 points off touchdowns. Everything else has been field goals. So that's 27 points off field goals. And Spencer Schrader has been doing it right. Spencer Schrader has been doing it right. So I'm very happy that Spencer Schrader has been consistent as our kicker. And it just helps you realize that Indy sports deserves this. Us as a fan base, we've seen a lot of heartbreak and tragedy, being sports fans here. Haven't really had much to celebrate since the 2012 Fever Championship or the 2007 Colts Super Bowl. Obviously, we hosted a Super Bowl in 2012, but it hasn't, we haven't been able to really grasp that in years. Some conference championship runs, same with the Pacers. Obviously, I talked about the Fever win, but now it's time for everything to just fall into place, And being an Indy fan is the best thing you can be. But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go, Sirs.